Carter. As a career coach, I work with busy women executives struggling with self criticism, imposter syndrome, stress, and anxiety who crave to be more relaxed and at ease in their own skin while enjoying the career and the life they've built. Rather than coach them on the symptoms, I leverage my mental fitness training so that I can work with them on the root causes that threaten to sabotage their career and their lives. I offer a 7-week mental fitness program as the foundation for our work together, and you will see immediate results. Welcome, everyone. Go ahead and take a moment and drop in the chat 1 to 3 things you intend to learn today. I do so appreciate you for joining me today for Mental Fitness, Unleashing Your Full Potential Lunch and Learn. And again, I'm Dr. Tawana Carter, a career coach, also an ICF Professional Certified Coach, or PCC for short. I'm also a Positive Intelligence, PQ for short, mental fitness coach, as well as an NGH, or National Guild of Hypnotists Certified Hypnotist. And I just want to key you into the learning objectives today. This is why you're here, and this is why I did the presentation. I do want you to learn how you can achieve anything you desire, regardless of the challenges that they present. And to do that by eliminating any obstacles holding you back from living your best life, as well as introduce you to an amazingly simple system that's going to allow you to discover your saboteurs and the cause of all the bad feelings in your life, as well as identify those 3 muscles that you need to develop to increase your mental fitness so that you can decrease your stress and achieve your goals. I'll also be demonstrating some of the techniques that anybody can learn to use in their daily life to shift from stress and anxiety, the saboteur mode, to the sage and calm mode. Does this sound familiar? You're goal oriented, well accomplished, you get stuff done, and you get it done right the first time. People depend on you because they know you get it done right. But yeah, maybe you also procrastinate, even going to the point of adding tasks to your already stressful project and busy schedule. And as soon as you get the goal done or the mission is complete, you're like, okay, so what? Yeah, okay, all right, whatever. Now what? What's next? Oh, next goal. You get that done. Next goal. You get that one done. Next goal, next goal, next goal. Never really taking the time to either enjoy the goals. In fact, you don't even feel like you've accomplished anything when you've achieved this goal. I want to tell you about this. So let me just fess up and say, this is me. Okay. I have a saboteur called the hyperachiever saboteur, and we'll talk about what that is in a few moments. So here is a comment from one of the clients that went through the Positive Intelligence Mental Fitness Program. I've taken a lot of programs over my 30 years with this agency, and by far, Positive Intelligence, PQ, Mental Fitness is the most transformative senior manager government organization. So, what is mental fitness? Mental fitness, according to Shirzad Shamin, the founder of Positive Intelligence, mental fitness is your capacity to respond to life's challenges with a positive mindset instead of a negative mindset. Now, most of you have probably heard mental health and mental fitness and mental health. They're on different screens. So, yes, they are different things. They're not the same. Mental health, when I looked this up at mentalhealth.gov, mental health includes your emotional and psychological and social well being. It also affects how we think, how we act, and how we feel. It can also determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and make choices. And so you see that mental health is almost something that happens to you. And when it does, it goes up or down. It just affects how you do your business. As opposed to mental fitness, we know it's your capacity. We can build the capacity so that whatever challenges come in life, you're able to handle them in that positive mindset versus a negative mindset. And so when we talk about mental fitness, it is all about how to grow those three core muscles to teach us to thrive in challenging times. Notice we didn't say survive, not in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, you're not actually living, making the best decisions for your life or your career. So we're talking about how to thrive by growing three core muscles. So we've already said that's the definition of mental fitness, right? What's the impact? Well, number one is peak performance. You're actually able to perform and maintain consistency at your peak performance level when you build your mental fitness. Also, you have peace of mind and well-being, wellness, and healthy relationships. You're actually able to enjoy your relationships because you can build healthy relationships and be healthy yourself. So, mental fitness, is there research upholding this? Well, absolutely, right? So, there's a research foundation, and there are four different pieces, right? And so, there's positive psychology. Most of you have probably heard that before. Solution focus. What can we do to get over, around, above, or under this challenge? It's also based on performance science. We already talked about the fact that when you increase your mental fitness, you can consistently operate at your peak performance. Also based on one of my favorite neuroscience, I love studying how the brain works and how can we affect that, how can we change it to get what we really want in life. And the last piece of that is cognitive behavioral psychology. That's basically saying how we think cognitive when we start to feel emote on it, it will influence how we behave. Cognitive behavioral psychology, right? All of those pieces go in to support positive intelligence. Worldwide participants, absolutely. Over 500,000 participants from over 50 countries around the world have participated in positive intelligence mental fitness program. Research includes results from hundreds of CEOs and executive teams, as well as Stanford students. Now, Shazad Shamin, and I have to say that I stalked him for about 3 years. After I took a couple of classes from him, learned about this, I wanted to bring it to my clients because it was phenomenal and I knew the impact it would have. So as soon as he offered this, the training for coaches, I was right there in it. So Shazad Shamin graduated from Stanford students. So this is his alma mater, and that's why there's lots of Stanford students who have actually been included in the research. And world class athletes, as well as many YPO families and forums. So not only is this for adults, but it's for children as well. Mental fitness works for the entire range of ages, all groups of people. Now, if you really want to read his researches, he actually summarizes it in his book called Positive Intelligence. It's also been translated into over 20 languages. Let's talk about the power factor analysis for a moment. When we do factor analysis, we get down to discover the root cause. And we're not only operating on symptoms. And so mental fitness program, it's not about the symptoms, it's about getting to the root cause. This results in radical simplification. So let's say for a moment, at the root of the thousands of colors, there are only three factors: red, blue, and green. So the results of factor analysis in the research have shown only three core muscles are at the root of mental fitness. Number one, the saboteur interceptor muscle, two, the sage muscle, and three, self command. There are 10 saboteurs. You've heard me mention earlier that I have the hyperachiever saboteur. And there are 10 saboteurs and five sage powers. And three core muscles, right? Just those three core muscles: saboteur interceptor, the sage muscle, and the self command muscle. Now, we talked about saboteurs. There are 10 of them. All of us have the judge. Each and every one of us has the judge. And we judge in three different situations. We are either judging ourselves: you're so stupid. How could you mess this up again? Everybody's going to look at you and know you're stupid. You don't belong here. That's when we're judging ourselves. We can in turn judge others. Oh my God, this is an idiot. How did he or she ever get hired? I can't believe this. We're looking out and we're judging other people. We can also judge a situation or an event. Yeah, she rolled her eyes at me. I know she's going to go back and say something to my boss. I'm never getting that promotion. So we each of us have the judge saboteur, and we say that there are nine accomplices, right? 10 saboteurs in all. All of us have the judge, but we have the other nine in different or varying degrees depending on who we are. Now, these are the nine accomplice saboteurs, right? And so you have on the left side, you see where style, three different styles. These are assert, earn, or avoid. And then the motivation for why we do what we do: independence, acceptance, or security. And so you know that I told you I have the hyperachiever. And it's very important to say I have the hyperachiever. It's not I am hyperachieving, right? Because if you have something, then you can moderate how it affects your life. Very important when we talk about the saboteurs. We have the saboteurs, not we are the saboteurs, right? So when you take the free positive intelligence assessment, it's going to give you some results that look very similar here for James, right? It'll say, here are your results. So we see that for James, his strongest saboteur is controller. His weakest saboteur is hyperachiever. Won't look the same, but we each have them in varying degrees. And for me, my strongest saboteur was hyperachiever. Be sure to stay to the end of the training. I'm actually going to give you that link so you can take that free assessment. Now, I know what you're thinking, like all this positive intelligence and positive mindset. Sounds kind of Pollyannish to me. Negative emotions are important. They're good for you, right? Are they really? Are they really good for you? Is pain good for you? Negative emotions are actually only helpful to you for about a second as an alert. As you get close to the stove, it's hot. That 1 second alert says it's hot, and you're done with it. Pull your hand away, and you're done with the negative emotion. When you stay in negative emotions, it really hurts your ability to think creatively. It hurts your ability to problem solve. It really stifles your ability to have empathy and curiosity, right? Or have that laser focus action. So, being in negative emotion is saboteur mode. If you stay in negative emotions, you are basically letting the saboteur have reign of your life. Again, those three muscles, and they're very important: saboteur and scepter, sage muscle, and self command. The sage muscles, what is that? The sage actually lives in the region of your brain that's associated with positive emotions, peace, calm, clear headed, focused creativity, looking at the big picture versus getting stuck in the weeds. And it operates from the sage perspective. Now you may be asking, what's the sage perspective? The sage perspective basically says any outcome, situation, or challenge or circumstance that we have can be turned into a gift or an opportunity. Every single thing. For instance, during the pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs or they were laid off. Many of them took the opportunity of being laid off to establish their own companies. You can read many stories about people who started cheesecake businesses and they are wildly successful. Again, the sage perspective says whatever the outcome is or circumstance, you can always turn it into a gift or an opportunity. So, question: which perspective is true? Saboteur that says this is bad. I've been fired from my job. It's bad. My car broke down on the side of the road. It's bad. I got stuck in this elevator. That's bad. Or the sage that says this is a gift or an opportunity. The answer is whatever you believe becomes true. Whichever one you believe, it becomes true. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're absolutely right. So whether you stay in saboteur mode or you stay in sage mode, that's what comes true for you. Again, those three muscles are key: saboteur, interceptor, sage, and self command. Let's talk about these three core muscles because once you master them, you actually transform your life. The saboteur and interceptor muscle, your saboteurs generate all negative emotions: anxiety, jealousy, envy, fear, imposter syndrome, self sabotage. Any negative emotions are generated by your saboteurs. Mental fitness actually requires you to have the ability to intercept your saboteurs and discredit them, right? Let's look at that. People laid off. That could be, in saboteur mode. It's scary, it's fearful, it's anxiety provoking, but some people use that to establish your business, which took off wildly successful. They actually hired family members and had to hire staffs to help them grow that business because it took off so fast. They discredited their saboteurs, right? And when you build a saboteur interceptor muscle, that's exactly what you do. You discredit the saboteur. The self command muscle, it boosts your ability to command your mind to quiet the saboteurs. Because remember, I said we're not the saboteurs. We're not. I'm not a. I'm not. I'm not a controller. I have the controller saboteur. There's a difference there, right? And it does that by quieting the saboteur region and amplifying that sage region, that self command muscle. Using some simple daily activities, you can actually quieten your saboteurs and run your life rather than allowing your saboteur hijack brain to run you. Your sage muscle is the one that allows you to handle obstacles and challenges with a very calm mind and positive emotions versus you flipping automatically into survival mode. Survival mode is fight or flight anxiety. We don't make the best decisions in fight or flight. We're not as creative as we need to be in fight or flight, and we don't always problem solve very well in fight or flight or survival mode. The sage muscle also has access to the five primary powers. And for peak performance, you learn to boost all five of those powers and you know when to use which power. So, how do we do that? How do we learn to boost that? How do we learn to quieten our saboteurs? Well, we do that by 10-second PQ reps, right? So let's do a demonstration. So for a moment, I want you to close your eyes if you're in a safe space. Close your eyes all the way down. I want you to think about a person or a circumstance or a situation that really bothers you, whether it makes you anxious. It could be someone you're dealing with at work, or if you're having some issues with a family member. Close your eyes for a moment and go back to that person or that issue. Think about it until it has you about as upset as you would be about it, right? If it frustrates you, you're a little frustrated. If it just makes you angry, if it makes you give someone the side eye, like every time you think about that person, see them, that part, right? So close your eyes as you think about that person or that situation. Now, I want you to rev up the feelings, right? And then once you've done that, assign it a number from 0 to 10, where 0 is, you're not bothered at all. And 10 is like you really bothered, you're really anxious, or you're really frustrated, or aggravated, or upset. Just give yourself a number, write that number down. All right, think you got it, right? Write your numbers down, really think about that activity. Now I want you to just, don't even think about that activity. We're going to do a 10-second PQ rep. I'm going to pick up my phone here so that I can time you for the 10-second rep, right? And so the PQ reps is every 10 seconds, it's a rep. So we're going to do a couple. We're going to do a few here. So we're going to start now. I want you to just go ahead and wiggle your toes. That's it. Just wiggle your toes. That's right. Wiggle those toes. Just wiggle them. That's right. Wiggle them a little bit. You can even wiggle up here too, but really wiggle those toes really good. So we've already got 2 reps in just that quickly. Keep wiggling. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right, so go ahead and stop. I want you to notice where your number is right now, right? That was three 10-second reps, 30 seconds, so PQ reps. Notice how you actually feel. In fact, you don't have to do it in the chat, but write down on your paper 1, 2, or 3 words to describe how that felt, just wiggling your toes. It's pretty amazing, right? It's really amazing. Let's do another one. All right, for this one, we're going to stay with the toes. I want you to go ahead and find your toes. In other words, if I ask you to find your fingers, oftentimes we do this. We're going to press down those fingers. Well, I want you to find each of your individual toes on both feet. You should be able to figure out which one that pinky toe is, or the baby toe, or the one next to the baby toe, or the big toe, the one next to the big toe, or that middle one. Find all of your toes, right? Yeah, yeah. Just take your time, find each one. All right, that's about 30 seconds. Again, notice how that feels. So I invite you to check your number again, because remember we started this off where you thought about an incident or someone that just kind of got you revved up, where you were anxious, frustrated, irritated, aggravated. Could be some jealousy in there, maybe some envy, but whatever it was a negative emotion. And look how high that number is, and then recheck 0 to 10. Where did your number fall to? Pretty amazing, right? That was 30 seconds, 3 10-second reps. And with 3 10-second reps, you're already able to draw down that negative emotion, and you should be feeling pretty good. Because at the end of the day, the only people you really see wiggling their toes and abandoned are going to be kids. And kids are happy when they do that. And this is just a way, wiggling your toes really signals to your brain that you're safe and everything's okay. That's why that good feeling kind of washed over you. Like, okay, where is this coming from? That's where it comes from. Pretty neat, right? So again, just write down the one, two words, one, two, three words that describe how that felt. Right? So that's the simplicity of this operating system. If you're feeling negative emotions, stop. You're actually in saboteur mode. Do some PQ reps, and you can see how we did three. We did 30 seconds, three PQ reps, three 10-second PQ reps, and activate your sage. Just that simple. And assume the sage perspective that every problem, issue, circumstance, situation can either be a gift or an opportunity. And generate the gift by using the sage powers, those five powers like empathy and curiosity, right? And creativity or calm, clear headed focus. Another question people ask us all the time like, I mean, come on. Can you really just shift from saboteur to sage response, even in really tough challenges? Answer is yeah, but the speed and the depth of the shift really depends on how strong your mental muscle is. You gotta practice, right? And just highlighting that mental muscle. Can you get lasting positive change with mental fitness, building your mental fitness? Absolutely, right? 20% of lasting change is actually insight. I see I have this issue. Every time I look at her, I give her the side eye because she just makes me angry when she walks into the room, right? There's just some people that just rub us the wrong way. That rub you the wrong way is saboteur mode. You're in saboteur mode. And so the other part of lasting change is mental muscle, 80%. And you can actually build your mental muscle. This is a testimonial from a client. Said, I now recognize the saboteurs of coworkers and teammates. Instead of getting frustrated and angry with folks in meetings, I now do PQ reps. And that has been an absolute game changer for me. This is from a director at a nonprofit organization. So not only does she know her saboteurs, but she's actually able to recognize her coworkers, those around her, recognize when they're in their saboteur mode. And rather than her pinging off her saboteurs, pinging off their saboteurs, she does PQ reps. And here's a wonderful thing. This is 6 months after she completed the mental fitness program. How amazing is that? 92% is the percent of participants who reported improvement in teamwork and collaboration on the job. Another testimony from a client. I developed powerful mental muscles which allowed me to deal with challenges with a whole lot less stress. I also had greater clarity, creativity, and resilience. This is from a general manager of a nonprofit organization. So success requires intense initial practice. Because, like I told you, that director, 6 months after finishing this, she's like, you know what? I can now see saboteurs and those folks around me, and I do my PQ reps, and I'm good. And actually, it feels good to be to manage your own emotional well-being. So basically, you're investing 15 minutes a day for 6 to 8 weeks. My program is 7 weeks long, 1 week of onboarding, and then 6 weeks of that intense initial practice. After all, you can't defeat a gang of bandits by sending in one new fighter per day for 100 days. That doesn't work, right? You need that intense practice. 98% is the percentage of participants who reported improved ability for accurate self assessment and emotional intelligence growth. The 98% says it all, right? Yes, it is absolutely possible. So, what is a PQ mental fitness difference, right? With the PQ program, it focuses on muscle, developing those three core muscles. The traditional program typically focuses on mainly on insights, right? The PQ program solves for the root cause. It goes in for the root cause versus in traditional training, you're looking at the symptoms and trying to help those symptoms. And the PQ program is one universal operating system versus endless competing and complicated frameworks in traditional training. Again, 91%. This is the percentage of participants who improved their emotional self control. Who couldn't use a little of that? So, what is this mental fitness program? It's 6 weeks duration plus 1 week of onboarding. So, each week you watch 1 hour video, and it's typically on the weekend, and some folks choose to do it on a Monday, right? You invest 15 minutes per day of practice using the PQ app. You read 8 chapters of the Positive Intelligence book over the 7 week period. And then through the app, I will continue to be your mental fitness coach for an entire year. To save your spot, text me your name and your email address to this number 410-914-7749. Then I want you to go to the Positive Intelligence Assessment site, take the assessment, email me your results at tawana@tawanacarter.com. Then grab 15 minutes on my calendar using that link. Now, the deadline to register is August 26th, 2022. The first weekly video will be available on Saturday, September 10th, when the program kicks off officially. You'll be participating in a pod. We call our groups pods. There'll be 2 to 10 people, and you will participate with at least with one other accountability partner. Yes, you did it. Thank you for hanging in there to the end. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Be sure to follow those next 3 steps. Text me your name and your email address. Take the Positive Intelligence Assessment. Email me your results at tawana@tawanacarter.com and sign up before September 26th.